Okay, and here we are back again. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And you may have looked at or watched the part 1 and part 2 YouTube videos or the MP4 videos on the website, and they show the church and the pictures and the imagery. And all I wanted to do at this point is let's just look at this drawing. Okay, here. One thing I will say, you'll notice that I have the axes visible, and it is my suggestion that you keep your axes the same all the time with all your drawings, because it helps you to stay oriented as to where you are. I usually put the solid green going backwards, the solid red going off to the right, and the solid blue going up. And if you can try to keep your drawings aligned to these axes, everything is simpler. I do tend to I find the axes to be a nuisance if they're constantly in your drawing, and so I usually put them off to the left. I also try to get the drawing itself so that it is not where the axes are. This building is complex enough that I kind of left the red line nearby to try to help keep making the building properly straight. Now, you might look at this and go, A, this is not very pretty, B, it doesn't look like that church, and C, where did 120 megabytes worth of drawing come from? But actually I've turned off all the layers. So when you start turning layers on, you start seeing more of the drawing. And again, starting to teach, one of the things I can tell you about layers, Sketchup doesn't chew up its CPU time rendering out layers that aren't being shown. In addition to which, you can make portions of whatever is there hidden, but sometimes when you're making a drawing, you need to look at hidden geometry and then not look at hidden geometry. And if you're hiding things to keep them out of your way by making them hidden, then if you have to look at hidden geometry, all this stuff that you hid suddenly is in the middle of what you're trying to look at to draw. So I tend to say, piece by piece, ease this out into layers and get rid of the layers that you're not working on. So we're done with that. Let's just see what happens. Obviously, beneath the church is the concrete that holds up the church. These are the foundation blocks that are underneath the church that provide it support. This is the terrain to bring out something that's fairly important, which is a lot of any major building is going to be beneath the ground. That's just how human beings do it. So the terrain chews up a lot of CPU, and the terrain slows down the computer and makes it hard to show things. But you should put your terrain in there, because sometimes when you're making your drawing and you put the terrain absent, it looks like everything is way too high up in the air. Now we can start adding some pieces of the church. That was the side where the door is. These are the finials. This is one end of it. This is the concrete. These are the stones that make up the church. Now, part of this lecture series is to show you how you can use images to make your drawing more accurate with respect to something that you're trying to duplicate. You'll notice now that the whole computer has managed to slow down. And now you may say, well, what is this? But they want me to get this doorway in here. And that doorway is going to be made out of wood. So I put those in there just for my reference, but they're just sitting there right now. And one thing we can do is take this little church as a simple box and get rid of it. And then you begin to see that's the doorway made out of wood that's going to be over here. And that's an ugly door because the local natives break into the church all the time and wreck the door. So it's got to be redone, and I'm hoping to redo it in something that's pretty. But that's why this is just sitting there. This is a work in progress. So now you may be able to see with this where 140 megabytes came from.